from the Sharps except the over, which is obvious that anyone that's monitoring lines, that over just got blasted. They brought it out a little bit too low. Remember, the season series went over, I think, 3 of the 4 games, including the last 2 they played. And they just brought it out lower than they should have at about 213.5, 214. Now, that's a big adjustment from the season series. If you remember, they played in February, so they haven't played in a number of months, but they did play 3 times in February, and the average closing line was 228. So they adjusted about 15 points off of that, even though 2 of the 3 went over. You expect the Sharps to come in and go over, get out ahead of the market. That's what the market's going to do. What I'm paying attention to is, where is the resistance, and is that going to be legit when it finally comes? Because rest assured, eventually it gets to a point where side B becomes the right side. You know what I mean? Like if you're betting side A at -1 and all of a sudden that side A is now -5, 5.5, I wouldn't be too sure that that side A is still the right side. And I think that's what we're looking at in tonight's NBA game, where they did continue to bet it over 213.5, 14, 14.5, 15, 15.5, 16, 16.5. And now we're looking at 217.5, even 218s. I'm looking to see if any group's going to step up and fire on the under. Because again, anytime you're looking at that big of a significant move of 4 or 5 points, you got to ask yourself, how off were they going to be on a game 1 in the NBA playoffs with such a huge sample size of data this late in the season? Could the book really be that many points off? It seems like the betting syndicates think so, and it looks like the public's betting over as well. So that's the risk for the books. As far as the side, here's what we know. Historically, the home team wins game 1. In this round, almost 7 out of 10 times, they take a 1-0 lead. That's why you're looking at Oklahoma as a 7-point favorite in this game. But it looks like the public's taking the dog, and not surprising. They see Oklahoma City coming off that critical, crucial game 7, where they did get the job done at home. And this may be a decent letdown spot for Minnesota that hasn't played now in almost a week. After getting by Golden State in only 5 games. So there looks like they're betting the more rested team in Minnesota. They're taking the points with Minnesota, even seeing some Minnesota money line action as well. So one of those situations where it's dog and over from the betting public. Quickly, before we talk baseball in the NHL, nothing to report there from the betting syndicates, but another situation, it's another game 1. Those home teams tend to win more than they lose. In hockey, it's upwards of, I think, 60, 65%. At this price, it almost looks like a discount, getting them at about -120. And that's why it's getting all the money, all on Carolina and even more on the under. I haven't seen any over money at all. I mean, not a single over bet in this NHL. Not heavy volume, of course, low volume always in NHL. But any of the parlays are Carolina with the under. Any straight bets are strictly on the under. And we're starting to see the market reflect that. You now got to pay almost 130, in fact, at some of the sharper shops to go under because of all that heavy money. So that's what's going on in the playoffs. Otherwise, it's Major League Baseball, Major League Baseball, Major League Baseball, baby. Oh, real quick, I'll give you a 3% WNBA play I just bet.
Yes.
First half, Atlanta, Indiana. First half, Atlanta, Indiana, over 86. Still available because I just bet it. 3% play, 2 subscribers on the over in Atlanta and Indiana.
Love it. It's 5. We're going to travel to the Colorado Rockies, Phillies, and I'm going to take the over 6.5 team total on the Phillies. They scored 9 last night. Rocky used 3 bullpen guys. The bullpen might be a little bit thin. Senzatello's pitching for Colorado. He's awful. 6.4 ERA, 4 straight games, giving up 4 more runs. This is a crazy stat. 14 out of the 22 Colorado Rockies home games, the opponent has gone over this 6.5 number. Tons of runs in Colorado, so I'm going to ride that team total. Go to the WNBA. I mentioned Aaliyah Boston. I like her over 13.5 points. 19 in the first game of the season, 12 field goal attempts. She made 8 of them, added a couple free throws. She's high percentage around the rim, had 30 and 14 in 2 games against Atlanta last year, and the Atlanta Dream gave up 94 points first game of the season. A couple plays off of the WagerTalk free plays page. We're going to take a look at a no-run first inning in the Royals and Giants. This is from Ralph Michaels. Royals on a 10-0 streak, not scoring in the first, and 22 home games for San Fran, only scored a run in the first inning 4 times. Then we'll go to the NHL. I looked at this one, saw this one. I saw Don Buster put this up. Aaron Ekblad over 1.5 shots on goal. He's gone over in 4 straight games. 8, 7, and 8 shot attempts the last 3 games. So just quick recap. You're looking at MLB, Phillies over 6.5 team total. WNBA, Leah Boston over 13.5. Royals and Giants, no run first inning, and Aaron Ekblad over 1.5 shots on goal. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe.
Yeah, I can understand it. And I know Yanni talked about it a little bit. The Thunder are the best defensive team in the NBA, all season long. But I think some of that defensive intensity could drop tonight. Coming off of that 7-game series. I know that last game wasn't too taxing, but the series still takes a lot out of them. And with the quick turnaround, really just one day to prepare for this, I'm not willing to say they'll have the best game plan defensively. So between both of those things and just how I view the Timberwolves approaching this game, I think they know the defense that they're going up against. So because of that, they'll make it a point to play fast. Like, you don't want to play against a set Thunder defense all game long. Combination of that, and then when you do have to play half court for Minnesota, I mean, there's different ways they can score, but there's one mismatch that I have the hardest time seeing how the Thunder are going to handle it, and it's Julius Randle. I mean, I don't see anybody on that Thunder team who can guard him one-on-one. They're either going to have to double or do something to get the ball out of his hand. So combination of playing fast to beat the Thunder's half-court defense. When you do get in half-court sets, I think they can score efficiently through mismatches. I like Minnesota over their team total. I did better at 103.5. I know there's even some 105.5s, but I think it's doable. The more the series goes on, we could see better defense. These are 2 good defensive teams, but I don't think we see OKC's best defensive performance tonight. So Minnesota team total is what I'm looking at here.
I love that play. It's funny you bring that up. Ski, me and my team have been dabbling a little bit more in team totals and loving them across all sports. It worked for us in college football. I love just concentrating on one team in their matchup. And yeah, is it crazy to say that Julius Randle Towns trade, is that a win-win?
It is a win-win.
You don't see that.
I didn't think it would be, but Julius Randle has proved us wrong. These playoffs, he's taking another step up. He's looking like a completely different player. And as much as how much I talk bad about players when I feel they're playing bad. So I give them all the praise for playing well. I'm even.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
How about this, Andy? What about Randle PRA? I mean, if they're going to be playing through him, everything's been through him anyway. Can you talk me off of that?
No, he's been playing incredible. And you're right. Dort, as amazing as defense as he is, Randall's got the height advantage on him. It's a tough matchup. I don't know what Chet. It probably isn't fast enough to keep up with them. It's going to be a tough one. That's a little bit of a hole in the Thunder defense. I think he's going to play great. I think he continues it. I don't see any signs of him slowing down. I would be happy with the Randle over PRA for sure. We're going to talk a little WNBA and.
Yeah, both teams dropped their opener, but these are 2 teams that are supposed to be at different levels. Like, the Aces are supposed to be the cream of the crop. So for them to come into the season and lose that first game as a favorite the way they did, that shows that, maybe they aren't they're not there yet. Maybe they don't deserve to have that favorite role right now. And I agree with that. I think this is a Vegas team that still a little bit finding their rhythm after trading Kelsey Plum, adding Jewel Lloyd. I think the chemistry for that team is going to take a little bit of time. I think that's what we saw in that first game. Like, there were a few times when Jewel Lloyd had no idea where to be on the court. It was messing up the spacing. And I don't think that's something that flips overnight for this Aces team. Defense was a major concern for them. A glaring red flag is that they allowed 92 points to the Liberty. The Liberty only shot 19% from 3. That means they're giving up layup after layup after layup. They're just not playing any defense. So a combination of the offense needs some work. The defense looks bad. I mean, when I've seen the Aces in this spot before, they have not had success. I've seen them 4 times as a double-digit road favorite after a loss. They've covered 1. They failed to cover 3 in a row. On the flip side, we've done a lot of talking about the Aces. For the Sun, new coach, new roster, but they showed that, they're playing hard and they're executing. The style that they play is up tempo. It's a lot of movement, and that's going to be hard to defend for a team that's already struggling to defend in general. So think of it like the Pacers, like they almost want to play the Pacers kind of ball in a way. So I think that's tough to defend. Mabry coming off of a bad shooting night, 5 for 21. I think she shoots it better. I like the way the bigs were playing. I think Connecticut at the house can keep it respectable within 13 and a half points.
Love it. And yeah, Yankees, huge favorites. Corbin's going for Texas, Warren for Yankees. I was looking up Corbin, 3.35 ERA this season. This was a fade machine,
right?
Corbin was. Do you think Washington is sitting there like, what the hell, man? You had a 5.5 ERA with us. Now all of a sudden you drop it down to 3.3. I thought that was kind of funny to look at. But what's your breakdown on this game when you got Yankees minus 190 last time I checked?
Yeah, I mean, Pat, we talked about it a lot last year, even the year before. Patrick Corbin last year had a 5.6 ERA with the Nats. The year before, a 5.2. I'd even said last season the only reason he was still in the rotations because he was a veteran pitcher and the Nats just didn't have a lot of other options. But I guess the Rangers saw something because he has a 3.35 ERA this year, and it's not misleading. You look at the home runs given up. He's about, I don't know, I'd say a fourth of the way through compared to what he threw last season. He's only given up 6 home runs. Doesn't have much power, though, Andy, and this is the real red flag for me. Last year, 139 strikeouts in 174 innings. The year before, 124 and 180 innings. Nothing has changed in the regard. He hasn't all of a sudden got a bionic arm at age 40 or whatever he is. He's got 29 strikeouts in 37 innings this year, 13 walks. So I do think he's hittable. I think the Yankees will get to him tonight, and I do like the Yankees in this game. Of course, whenever you're looking at a money line of minus 200, I like to get it lower. I don't lay minus 200 for my clients. So I do think the run line gives us some value here. We're getting what's a minus 200 favorite down to even money right now. So you can get the Yankees minus 1.5 even money. And as I talk a lot about the Dodgers and other quality teams, when you have a good offense, it makes it easier to cover the run line, and vice versa. The Rockies, who've been the biggest money burner, the worst team, I should say, in baseball this year. I looked last week. I was talking about one of their games. They lost by 1 in game 1, and since then, right after that, 30 of their next 34 losses came by 2 runs or more. It's the same thing with good teams. Dodgers, Yankees usually win by margin. So get that price down. Let's fade Corbin, and let's do it with the minus 1.5 even money run line tonight with the Yankees. Yeah, so as I mentioned, I left the Cardinals off the card yesterday. And another reason, by the way, I left that game off on Monday is because they had an unlisted starter. It looked like it was going to be Montero, and then they went bullpen. And at 1:20 Eastern, right before I did that free video, the odds logic screen lit up, and it showed that it was going to be basically a bullpen game. But as I said, though, the Cardinals won easily last night, 11-4. I hope everybody enjoyed that free play video. Subscribe, click the bell for an instant alert so you know when these free plays go up on WagerTalk TV each day. But now I'm going to flip the script because we have a much different setup tonight in the rematch here. And I do think the situation, especially the pitching edge, as you said, favors the Tigers here. But once again, you're paying a premium if you're going to back the favorite. So I think the run line is a better option here. Instead of laying minus 180, let's get that run line down. Now, it's not going to be as low because they're the road team. We're not going to cut it in half like the Yankee game. But still, you can get the Tigers minus 1.5 run line in this one down to minus 110 pick 'em price, basically. So once again, let's get that juice down to a pick 'em price, lay the 1.5, and definitely don't mind doing it as much with the road team. And one of the reasons run lines are half as much for road teams, if you're a new sports bettor, is because the home team has to bat if they're losing, whereas, a home team up 1 doesn't bat in the bottom of the 9th to extend the lead. So always a little bit easier to cover the run line as a road favorite here, and I think Detroit bounces back. And something I pointed out yesterday when I did the video, I did my tease. It's important to have a good tease when you're doing YouTube videos. I said, who is the most winning team in baseball this year? It's not the Yankees. It's not the Dodgers. It's the Detroit Tigers. And even with that loss last night, they still have 4 more wins than anybody in the American League. And they still have 2 more wins than anybody in the National League, including the Mets, Phillies, and Dodgers. So this is a really good Detroit team, and they got an excellent pitcher on the mound with Skubal tonight. So this looks like a good bounce-back spot for Detroit. And I would lay the 1.5 and get it down to a pick-em price with the Tigers.
Everybody right now, I released a client play on the Carolina Hurricanes at minus 125. And the reason for that is the straightforward angle of Florida just played a game 7, and they had 1 day rest which is amazing. It's amazing that it wasn't swapped and Dallas and Edmonton played tonight and Carolina and Florida play tomorrow. So Florida is on 1 day rest after a 7-game series playing against an extremely well-rested hockey team who has not been pushed at all these playoffs. Carolina's 0-12 in their last 12 third-round games. 0-12. They've been swept 3 times. 3 times, Andy.
Wow.
So it's a small wager on Carolina, and it's largely based on the fact that they have an incredible coach. They're super, super deep. I think they match up well against Florida because they're both hard checking, mean, sort of heavy hockey teams. And if Carolina does win tonight, that minus 130 for Florida to win the series will be plus 110, 120, 130. And that's likely where you make that Florida bet. So the way I'm sort of attacking this series is I'm looking to bet Carolina in game 1, and then I'm looking to maybe come back with Florida on the series. I think the series is going to be close. But I do like Carolina in game 1, and that is a client bet. As for Edmonton betting series, betting a futures bets here, Carolina plus 330 to win it all. Florida plus 240 to win it. There's no betting opportunity there. And the reason ultimately is you can just roll your money and make much better odds. That's for damn sure. So it does not make sense to make a future bet when you get down to your final 4. And the same thing applies for both, for the NBA as well. There's just no real opportunity. To give you an example, if Carolina's now against Edmonton plus 100. So if you bet $100 on Carolina to win the Stanley Cup, you win $320. If you bet $100 on Carolina to win this the semifinals or the conference finals, you win $200. They'll be plus 100, plus 120 against Dallas or Edmonton. You bet it again, you win over $400. So don't bet a futures bet at all when you get down to the final 4. As far as the series goes,